Hello, everybody. Happy Thursday.
Hi.
Welcome to our Thursday live event. Today we are going to be talking about all things labor and delivery. And by that, we're going to talk a little bit just about the labor and delivery landscape in Canada. We're going to go through what to pack in your hospital bag in gruesome detail.
Yeah.
Today I am joined with Nicole. Nicole, why don't you introduce yourself to our little group?
I'd love to. So I work at Snuggle Bugz in our talent and culture department. I've been a doula for several years, for about 7 years at this point. And I have 2 kids that I'm a mom to, Hudson and Charlotte. And this is a place where all of my favorite things come together because birth is my jam.
Amazing. And for those of you who don't know, I'm Melissa with the marketing team. Also a mom of 2 little boys. Forrest is 3.5. Felix is 1.5. They are the sweetest little guys. But with marketing, we've got a plethora of intel, and we thought we would share. Our goal at Snuggle Bugz is really to instill confidence in families navigating the early stages of parenthood. We know how overwhelming not only building your registry, but also just the whole landscape of new parenthood can be.
Yeah.
So our goal really today is to kind of have a Q&A. Feel free to send through your questions as we're chatting. Thanks to everyone who sent in questions in advance. We're going to be definitely getting to those. I will be keeping an eye on the questions that come in and try to catch them all. So let's do a quick overview of our registry program and the registry event, which is what brings us here today. So our registry program, it's amazing. It is recently revamped just a few months ago. We have so many great capabilities with that, but really the incentives for building a registry with Snuggle Bugz are incredible. You can get up to $200 in gift cards when you build your registry with Snuggle Bugz. You're getting completion discounts. You're getting extended return policies. We now actually have the ability to scan to registry in store, which makes your life a lot easier and a lot faster. And the registry event, so from now until October 18th, build your registry with Snuggle Bugz and you will get 15% off your purchase between October 19th and November 9th. So make sure you start your registry with us now. Honestly, building your baby registry is such an exciting time, but I also totally understand it's a little bit overwhelming. So
That's also why it's so great to visit our stores, though, because
yes,
our store associates are that pillar of strength for you during this time, and they have that opportunity to be able to help you decipher what it is that your family needs at this time and instill confidence in you.
Absolutely, and I'm so glad you mentioned that, because as you're building your registry, definitely call your local store and book an appointment. They will do an in-depth, custom, personal registry appointment with you to help you figure out what stroller and car seat is right for you and your family, to help you really build out that initial registry assortment and add things to your list. So definitely make sure that you're calling to book those appointments so that you can get that scanner done.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get right into it.
Yeah.
Because today we are going to be talking about labor and delivery in Canada. We're also going to be talking about what to pack in your hospital bag. And this is not a what to pack in your hospital bag Snuggle Bugz retail edition. This is holistic, everything to pack in your hospital bag. We've tried to be very thorough to really add value for you guys, because it's an exciting time.
Very.
Okay. So let's talk about it, Nicole. I'm going to quick do a scan for if there's any questions so far. If anybody does have any questions, we're taking them throughout the live and we're going to do our best to answer everything. So hit us up. So let's kick things off by talking a bit about labor and delivery in Canada. So many of our followers are first-time moms, and if you aren't surrounded by, friends or family members who have recently walked this path, it can be a pretty lonely journey.
Yeah.
And it can be a little bit overwhelming.
Yeah.
So really our goal is to just kind of tell you some of the fundamentals. We're going to share our experience with you guys, and just really help you kind of understand the network and the resources that are available to you and give you some starting points.
Well, Snuggle Bugz is a great starting point because we have our Instagram, our YouTubes, our Facebook, Our learning center is like a wealth of information for everybody. And I believe we're going to have even a checklist that's going to be uploaded to our learning center with all of the must-haves for your hospital bag from Snuggle Bugz.
Absolutely. Our goal is always to instill confidence in families navigating the early stages of parenthood. So we've done our best to deliver the content to feed that confidence. Okay, so in Canada, a baby is typically born, like let's talk very high level and then we'll get super specific. So babies are born in hospital, a birthing center, or via a home birth.
Yep.
What did you do?
I had both my babies in hospital, but that was not my initial intention. Initially, I had this dreamy home birth planned, but my babies had different ideas, and we ended up having our babies in the hospital.
Okay, we're gonna dive into that further in a sec. So care providers are typically going to be your GP, your family doctor, your OB, or a midwife. So we were chatting a bit before this about, you know, the difference between a midwife and an OB, and why don't you kind of walk us through that and who would choose a midwife? Because I was saying my experience was I just assumed I would go the kind of traditional doctor hospital route.
Yeah.
Or the maybe not traditional but very popular route.
Yeah.
And then I had a few very close friends actually have midwives and share their experience with me just before I was expecting my first, and it totally opened my eyes and changed my mentality. So talk to us a bit about a midwife.
Yeah, well, I'll talk to you a little bit about from my personal experience. One of the reasons I wanted to have a midwife is because I really wanted to have a lot of information, and I had heard through friends and family that by seeing an OB I maybe wouldn't be awarded as much time to ask questions and get like those kind of resources I was looking for. I also knew that if my plan initially was to have a baby at home, that birth is a very mental game, and I wanted to ensure that I was setting myself up with a care provider that appreciated where I was coming from and was supportive of the decisions I was making. Not to say that OBs are not, because that's certainly not what I'm saying. There is definitely a need for an OB in certain situations, and anybody, whatever care provider you choose is going to be right for you. All families are different. I'm just speaking from my particular situation with what my needs were. I wanted my care team to be really supportive of what my decisions were, and I knew I could get that in a midwife.
It's just a bit more intimate.
Yeah, it's an intimate support system, and I also really wanted that postpartum care that came with it. It's amazing. Yeah, not having to leave your home 4 days after you have the baby. They come to you, and there was a lot of learning opportunities with midwives, and I love that aspect of birth. I love learning as much as I possibly could.
Absolutely. So in addition to care providers, there's also these, you know, critical support roles and support providers for birth. So that, you know, that could be your partner, family member, or friends.
Yeah.
Nicole was telling me we went out for a drink a few weeks ago, and she was telling me about how her and several friends went to another friend's birth, and you guys supported your friend through the birth. And I was like, that's so wild, because to me it was like me and my husband were the only people allowed in the room. So it's so interesting how everyone really has unique needs, a unique path, and like you do do what works for you, and it's so beautiful. However your birth okay, so in addition to friends and family, there's also a doula. So doulas, we know, are hugely popular, and which is why we've brought Nicole on with us today. We're so lucky to have such a valuable resource here at Snuggle Bugz. I know when I was expecting my first, Nicole literally had just started, and I cornered her in an office, and I was like, Nicole, tell me everything about being a doula. Like, do I need to go down this path? What does it look like? How do I need to prepare? And she like definitely gave me some very valuable advice. So why don't you kind of talk to us about what a doula is and what a doula offers?
Yeah.
So I know so many people are curious.
Sure. So a lot of people always ask the question, like, what is the difference between a doula and a midwife, or are you the same? We are very different. Midwives will deliver babies, take care of babies from a medical side, and moms from a medical side as well. Doulas are like your best friend during birth, is how I like to explain it. We are essentially that support system for you. For mom, definitely during labor and delivery, we help you with whatever feeding you're going to be doing afterwards. We're trained to help with comfort measures while you're laboring. It doesn't matter what kind of labor you're having, whether you're having a cesarean birth, a vaginal birth, medicated, non-medicated, there's all different kinds of ways to have babies, and doula support in whatever your decision is. And so we're there to help you through whatever questions you have. We're also sources of information, and as you can imagine, there's lots of different places to absorb information at this time, and doulas help to really centralize some of that information for you. We're a text or phone call away, so that kind of 24-hour support closer to when you're about to have your baby, like, am I in labor? I'm not sure if I'm in labor. Those were always that was like one of my favorite parts.
Yeah.
I love seeing women become mothers. I love, it's such a beautiful part of birthing journey.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Somebody has asked, can a midwife refer for ultrasounds and other tests?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I even had to get specialized tests during both of my pregnancies, and my midwives were able to identify that and get me in touch with the right specialist and still provide care throughout.
Yes.
Somebody else is asking, somebody says, I'm getting induced next week and my bag is not packed. This video is definitely essential. Yes, it is. Stick around. Okay, so let's have a couple, we've had such different experiences. So we've been through home births, vaginal births, VBAC, C-sections between the two of us.
Yes.
So why don't we
that's pretty wild, eh?
That's pretty wild. And it goes to show you, you kind of go in with a plan.
Yeah.
And we had this big chat before we hopped on today about really one of the most important things about preparing for birth is really preparing for multiple outcomes.
Yeah.
And in a sense, I would say not getting overly invested or tied to one. I know for myself, I really wanted a home birth, but I was very kind of reserved in my plans for that. When people asked, I was like, we hope for a home birth, but we're kind of planning for either option, however it goes, because giving birth can be a bit stressful, and I didn't want to have any negative feelings if I did end up having to go to the hospital or have to change my plan.
Yeah.
So let's talk a bit about. We'd love to hear just your birth story and for both of your kids.
I mean, how much time do we have? Because
you've got 2 minutes.
To sum it up, I felt like one of the reasons I became a doula in the first place was part of my birth experience. Not that it was bad. It was just unexpected, and it was a bit traumatizing, and I needed to heal from that experience, and the best way for me to heal from it was by fact-finding and figuring out what was I allowed to do, what was I not allowed to do, how can I advocate for myself going forward. I just had this dreamy plan of having a baby at home, and I didn't actually look into any other kinds of birth, which was, I guess, kind of silly on my behalf. And so after becoming a doula and working through a little bit of what had happened and why it had happened, I was much better outfitted for my next labor. And while I really wanted to have a VBAC, I also knew that it could go either way. I could labor the exact same way that I did with my first. My body just stopped, contracting at that 8 centimeter place. And I needed support from the hospital. And the second time around, I knew to go to the hospital, or I had said to myself, if things are going the same way, I'm just going to go to the hospital earlier. And like I said earlier, birth is very much can be a very mental thing. And one of the things that I knew was I have to just give into it. I had to give into it in all different aspects of my birth. And so I went to the hospital, and I had a positive attitude being there this time, knowing what I had to work with, how I could advocate for myself. And I remember there was a transfer of care that was about to happen between the OB and the midwife came back in and she goes, you sound different. I want to check you one more time. And at that point I was like, nah, let's just get me the epidural, let's go. And she said, no, you really sound different. I'd like to check you one more time. I said, okay. And she goes, you're 10 centimeters, you can push. And I just jumped on all fours and pushed that baby out in a second. And it was one of the most amazing things that happened. And I truly love, there are aspects of my first birth with my son that I love as well, and it's not that I like one better than the other. I have 2 beautiful, healthy babies as a result, but the story and the way that they came here, like, I just felt so much more empowered my second time around. I just knew a lot more, and I think that's what it came down to.
It's interesting that you say that you didn't really prepare for different outcomes, because I was definitely on the opposite.
Yeah, you did the opposite.
Literally.
Yeah.
Like I made my husband, over the course of getting ready for labor, I was like, we are watching YouTube videos of a planned cesarean birth, an unplanned cesarean birth, a hospital, like, natural birth, an epidural, a home birth, a water birth. Like, we watched every single one, because I had had so many friends be in that experience where they planned their birth in one way or had an expectation of how it was going to go, and just weren't, like, in the moment. There's so much happening. Your hormones are surging. There's a lot of energy in the air. There's it's just a crazy environment. And then to pivot on a dime, I was like, I want to prepare for that pivot so that I am a bit more ready, and I can
well, that, and like, doulas help prepare your partners as well. So your husbands can be very scared or nervous too when things are happening to you and they have no idea what's going on, or if you're not communicating what your needs are during birth. Like, doulas help create this language between the two people to say, like, if my shoulders go like this, come and do this to my shoulders, so that there's some language between you and your partner that doesn't have to be verbal and can be very comforting.
So somebody has asked, if you go to the midwife route and have a hospital birth, how many hospital staff and nurses are supporting the midwife on average during delivery?
I don't know. I guess it would probably, I would say it would depend.
I think it depends on your need for medical intervention, basically.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I've heard of people having a midwife, and the midwife does the full delivery in the hospital.
Yeah, and they'll have, like, a student with them or a secondary midwife. Like, usually midwives will have their own team.
But then if you do need more medical intervention, then sometimes they will have nurses or doctors on standby. So it really depends on your needs. I guess to go a bit into my experience, since it was so different than yours. So with my both boys, I did a home birth with assisted with a midwife. To your point about having multiple midwives, with my first, I had 4 midwives, because there's a midwife and a second, and then they both had students. So it was a full house. I definitely felt very well supported. My first birth was a nice 9 hours, kind of overnight. I remember I had nothing going on. I was texting my sister at 10:30, like, nothing's happening. Don't get your hopes up. And then I called her the next morning at 9 a.m. with a baby in my arms, and she was like, what the heck is happening?
That's the best.
So with my first, I did a home birth in water. So I was in the bath, and that was a really magical experience for me. Like, that was kind of my ideal way that I wanted it to play out. I didn't go fully down the hypnobirthing route, but I had learned a lot about hypnobirthing leading into my birth, so I kind of had some of those tools at my disposal.
Did you ever watch any hypnobirthing videos?
So many.
It's pretty cool.
Like, it can get very intense, and I will say I was on a very dialed back version of it. But just like the breathing and the mental aspects of hypnobirthing, I really loved. It was such a great experience. The midwives, like, totally, like, as I went to my bed, they then cleaned up the bathroom, and then when I went to the bathroom again, they cleaned up my room. It's like they've got a whole setup there to help, if anything does go wrong during the birthing process, then they have all of your kind of, like, emergency medical equipment there and ready to go. And then for my second, I also did a home birth. I call it a bit more of a spontaneous home birth, because it was, I was in labor for an hour and a half, but I only recognized halfway through. So 45 minutes I was in labor. I had only been sleeping for an hour or two. We didn't have, my midwife, we had just called her 2 minutes prior. And then the baby came, and my husband ended up actually, like, delivering the baby on the bathroom floor.
That's wild.
It was absolutely crazy. And then we actually had to call the paramedics, because I was like, I don't think I'm, like, supposed to just, like, chill waiting for our midwife to get here. Like, we had just called her. So we called the paramedics and they came and it was super sweet. They like tended, my toddler was still in his bed, kind of like, what the heck's going on here? Like, this is so graphic, but it was like my husband's literally holding our newborn baby and he's like, what are we doing? We're like, oh my God. So I reached behind me. I'm still in a birthing position. I reached behind me. I've just given birth, calling anyways, it was still such a magical experience. Like, wouldn't change it for the world. But I will say my second, we did have some health complications. So we ended up needing to go to the hospital. And I've had so many people ask me since, like, do you wish you had just delivered in the hospital because you ended up there anyways? And like, the two things were separate. And I'm still so happy at the end of the day that I was able to have that home birth experience for my second, even though it was totally different and totally fast. And I mean, what a story to tell for the rest of our lives, but
and while like your place of support and safety was in your home, some people's place of support and safety is in a hospital.
Absolutely.
So having choosing to have a hospital birth is like totally valid as well. You just want to be in a place where you feel best, right?
Absolutely. That is such a great point, because I know my mom and my sister, when I said I was planning a home birth, they work in the healthcare field and they were like, Melissa. But other people, like, you know, it
I know
totally
that feeling,
is
Melissa.
what works for you. Okay, so we've talked a bit about our own experiences about hospital births. So we had a really great question come in from the audience. Oh, somebody said, I love listening to women's birth plan and stories. Thank you. Us too. It's so valuable.
Cool. It's cool because everybody gets their own story of how they got here, right? And I think that's one of the most magical parts. And I think it's really nice too to share positive birth stories, because a lot of what we hear between friends and family is like, how hard was it? What was the worst part? And it's like, actually, there's really beautiful parts to birth.
It hurts, but it's beautiful.
I mean, it gets uncomfortable. And one of the ways that I love like talking to parents about preparing to be uncomfortable is I was taught by, when I did prenatal yoga, to stand on the back of your feet, like to stand on your feet like this, and to experience that moment of discomfort and like recognize in your body, what does that feel like? How do you react to it? And you know, that nice saying of like, you can do anything for 60 seconds.
I will say, like, right before I had my first, that moment where baby is crowning, and that's kind of like you're in peak pain. And I was literally, my thought was literally like, oh my God, like, I can't do this. It was a natural birth. Like, I had that moment of panic, and I was like, how am I going to get out of this situation? And I was like, okay, Melissa, literally the only way out of it is through it. And the calmer that I could be, and the more I could focus on maintaining that calm and that inner strength and putting my energy towards delivering the baby, was actually the fastest route through it.
I love it.
And so
you breathe the baby down.
You breathe the baby down. When you get panic up here, you're taking the energy up here, and you want your energy to be in your belly and in your like,
you know where it's going.
Yeah. It's going with the baby. So anyways, okay, somebody asked a great question. About to have our third baby. I had my other two all natural, no epidural, but at the hospital. Now I'm 33 weeks and the nerves kick in about feeling the pain again and worrying something might go wrong. How do you keep your moms calm leading up to birth, so when it's actually time to get the baby out, they go in with a positive mindset?
That's such a great question, and congratulations to you. How exciting. I would say, you know, again, it comes down to being prepared. Like, knowledge is power. The more knowledge you have around what you're doing, the better prepared and the more confidence you're going to have. It's so funny because when I first started working at Snuggle Bugz, I would always say, like, my job at Snuggle Bugz and my job as a doula were very similar in the sense that our jobs are to instill confidence in people that are navigating these crazy stages of their life, right? And how do you instill confidence in people? You give them information. You know, you show them that they're safe. You give them information. You
share experiences,
and also like ensuring that they have these like positive parts of their birth. So go back to those parts of your birth that were super positive, that you did amazing work, and focus your attention on those pieces to move forward in this third birth.
Some other things. So we kind of have a list of, how would I define this list? This is like random prep for labor and delivery before we get into hospital bag. So some of the things, like, take a baby prep course. In the Halton region, we've got this organization called the BUMP, they've got really great prenatal courses. The Baby Academy has online courses.
Melissa, I have to share with you.
Yes.
When I was expecting, I said to my husband, should we take a baby prep course? And he was like, Nicole, don't worry about it. When I was 12, I took the babysitter's course with St. John Ambulance, and I am prepared. And I was like, okay.
Amazing.
All right.
Amazing. So did you take the baby prep course?
We didn't. He was
Oh my
very,
goodness.
he was so confident, and he's a great dad.
Yeah.
And we learned on the fly. But you should take a parenting course. It's a great idea.
It honestly, they're great.
It instills confidence in you.
It instills
Yes.
confidence. I mean, I'm sure everyone has downloaded, you know, What to Expect apps in the Bump and Baby Center. Pack your hospital bag. We're going to get into that. The one thing I will mention about packing a hospital bag is do this even if you were planning for a home birth.
Yeah.
A la Nicole and I's experience.
Yeah, absolutely.
Build your birthing playlist. This was so, remember when I was talking about doing my yoga and Pilates? I used that music in my birthing playlist and it really helped to just like bring that great energy. So a birthing playlist, like if you need your 90s R&B, if you want your jazz music, whatever you need, if you need some Taylor Swift pop anthems, like get a playlist ready
Depends
to go.
what stage of labor you're in for what music you're preparing for, absolutely.
Sleep and take care of yourself, truly. Prepare your birth plan, and make sure that you talk to your partner about your birth plan and your care providers. Don't wait until you're in labor to talk to people about your birth plan. That's too late. But prepare your birth plan and also prepare your other options. Like if it comes to this is what I want to do. Or if I'm presented, you know, if I say that I'm at a pain threshold under this, I want to go natural birth. If I'm over this, then pitch me the epidural. Otherwise, keep me away from, like, whatever you want to do.
I think bringing your partner into that is really important.
Absolutely. Install your infant car seat in your vehicle.
Very important.
Leverage social media. So, man, there are so many amazing resources. I'm just going to shout out some accounts that truly, personally, I love and I know friends of mine love and our broader community. So taking care of babies for baby sleep, honestly, if you're not following her, she's got so many great tips. She's got great baby sleep courses. Totally recommend that account. Good Night Sleep Site, Alana, again, she's actually local. She's got another great account and great tools for baby sleep. We Sleep is another one. I really liked the Movement Mama. She's a US-based account. She's a baby pediatric physical therapist, so she talks all about baby development and helping to build, like, you know, tummy time and building those skills of sitting up and movement, and I really loved that. Feeding Littles is a great account for introducing solids and baby-led weaning. Speech Sisters for speech development, and Big Little Feelings. I've used Big Little Feelings I bought their toddler course, their potty course. Like, honestly, there's so many great resources available. So I just wanted to shout out some of those accounts because they've been personally so valuable to me in my parenting journey. But Nicole, without further ado, let's get into what to pack in your hospital bag. Okay, so can you post the account somewhere after the live? Yes, we probably should do that. Yes, we will definitely do that. Let's see. Perfect. Okay, so when we are packing our hospital bag, so we need to have, we put out laundry baskets here because I quite literally packed in laundry baskets. Some people pack in suitcases, some people do whatever they want. So if you're planning for a home birth, you will work with your midwifery team and pack a basket purely for home birth. They will work with you on that basket. We're not going to get into it today because we only have so much time, but there's resources available. But we're packing for hospital today.
Yes.
So we have here a basket for mom and a basket for baby and some other goodies.
Yeah.
So let's talk about our bag for baby first.
Okay.
So in our baby bag, if you are planning to formula feed from day one, make sure you are bringing your washed baby bottles to the hospital as well as some formula. We mentioned in the live yesterday that don't go all in on one type of baby bottle, because there are a lot of different options available and your baby might like some and not others. So we kind of recommend buying one of a few different types. Also, do not forget your adorable baby onesie.
Stop it.
Like adorable. This is a
I don't
Pigeon
even think I've
sleeper.
held something this small at a very
honestly,
long time.
right?
Oh my gosh.
You could get a little knotted hat, you could get a little bow, but this is great for both baby sleep, but also that baby's first picture. Yeah, we all know that picture. Baby in the little bassinet.
With
So
this oversized bow. Yes. I love it.
You're gonna want to bring 1 to 2 outfits. You'll also bring a little bit of wipes, but realistically the hospital is going to have wipes and diapers available to you, so we just suggest diapers if you want to go with like a fancy diaper print from day one. If you're feeling bougie, bring a little but not a lot, like we're talking a couple. Definitely bring some swaddles. The hospital will also have swaddles, but if you're looking for picturesque moments or you want to use your own supplies,
Yes.
then bring a couple swaddles. You're also going to bring some diaper balm. So when baby does those early meconium poops, they are sticky. So make sure you're getting some diaper balm or diaper cream on baby's bottom pretty early on, so that meconium isn't adhering to their skin so much and you don't have to scrub away to get it off.
Yes.
And then, I mean, baby really did not need too much.
A lot, yeah.
No. So that's baby's bag and we're good to go. Mom, on the other hand, you're gonna get the goods for mom. So why don't we've got some of the great stuff here. If you are planning to breastfeed or pump early on, let's talk about whether or not to bring your breast pump to the hospital.
Yeah. So Melissa had asked me like, oh, should we bring the breast pump to the hospital? And you know, it may be something that people need right off the bat. It can also be used during early labor, so it helps. It can help increase contractions and start labor as well. So I would say this is a nice option to have in your car.
Yes.
You don't necessarily have to bring it into the hospital, but maybe something to have in your car in the event that you want to use it.
Other things to have in your car are an extra pillow for dad or partner,
Yeah.
and a blanket in case you are having a longer labor and they're gonna need to take some naps.
Yeah.
Okay, so that
you take some naps.
It's wild. I've
People
had
have
friends
naps.
who have been in labor for like 72 hours.
Yeah.
It's like a 3-day long affair. So
Sometimes I even have naps at birth. Like sometimes birth goes a long time.
unimaginable.
Yeah.
For my 45-minute birth, it's unimaginable. I didn't even have time. Literally, as the baby was coming, I was like, "Go get towels!" So my husband put them on the floor.
Water.
The worst part is that our home was getting red out at the time, so I was in like the very small guest bath that had been used by the contractor. So I was literally like, I was actively giving birth, and I'm like, "Please clean. You need to clean this space." Like, okay, so. Somebody is mentioning that their hospital didn't offer wipes or diapers. Her spouse had to run out and grab them, so that's
I would say
totally legit.
That's true. Not all hospitals will offer you diapers, and if they do, sometimes they offer you one, and then you're responsible for the rest. So I would check with your hospital ahead of time.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, so then now let's get into Basket for Mama, and let's talk about some of these Freedom Mom products.
This is truly impressive.
Freedom Mom did not sponsor this, but they have some amazing, they've got this labor and delivery and postpartum recovery kit, and they've also got a C-section recovery kit. So in this labor and delivery kit, you're actually getting so many things that would be on your list.
Yeah.
You are getting your a bathroom bag, you're getting a delivery nursing gown and socks.
Socks are key.
Socks are key, and honestly that delivery nursing gown is great because you're pretty exposed in that labor environment.
Did you ever think to yourself like what your birthing outfit would be?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too. I thought, I mean, now
I set aside a birthing outfit, and it's in our thing too.
yeah, so I ended up, in the end, I wore nothing. But in my head, after thinking about it later, I was like, was I preparing for a rave? Like, I had thought of this like hot pink like shirt and then these like short, and I don't know what I thought I was preparing for.
Yeah.
But after I looked at it, I was like, I think I was I was very off base here. In the end, it's really, you're not wearing anything.
You're not. I just made sure, because I was like, oh, I'm going to be in the water and out of the water. So I brought a bathing suit top or like a couple sports bras, knowing that like getting wet was part of my journey.
Yes.
So also in the Freedom Mom labor and delivery and postpartum kit, you're getting a peri bottle, you're getting disposable postpartum underwear.
Yes.
You're getting instant ice maxi pads, perennial cooling, pad liners, and perennial healing foam, which is, honestly, you guys, the reason we're talking about this is it actually just includes so much of what you need, and that's going to help you in your journey. If you are planning for a cesarean birth, you've also got this great C-section recovery kit. So that includes, again, your bathroom bag, your grip socks, you've got your peri bottle, you've got some shower wipes, you've got C-section underwear that are specific to that C-section incision. You've also got a postpartum abdominal support binder and silicone scar patches. So honestly, those are just some really great solutions that prevent you from buying 10 different things, and it's all in one box.
Yeah.
And then let's get more into our mama kit, because we've got a lot of goodies here.
I love that Freedom Mama came up with kits to take care of mom. I feel like if we talked like 10 years ago, there wasn't a whole lot on the market to support mom postpartumly, and
even
this
3
makes
years
me
when
so
I had
happy.
my first, this was not available.
Yeah.
So this basket, I admittedly called Nicole, our social media specialist, right before she left home this morning. And I was like, Nicole, we need to bring the realness. I need you to pack a pseudo hospital bag based on things that are yours.
Bring us your basket.
Thank you to Nicole for saving the day. But we wanted to bring the realness, because you're going to be bringing a lot of stuff from your home, a lot of your toiletries and stuff. So like, let's walk through some of the things that you need. All right. So you've got your administrative stuff. You got a birth plan? Bring your birth plan. Print it out. You're going to be giving birth, mama. You can't be looking at your phone during that process, like shouting out your birth plan. You need to have a paper copy that you can hand out to people and say, read it.
Yeah.
You also need to bring your ID and your health card.
Yeah. Any money that you might want, like to pay for parking or snacks.
Yes. You also need a bunch of toiletries. So you are looking at large pads. You're looking at, I'm sure Nicole's got a bunch of these.
Large pads, or like Depends. You can also get Depends, right?
Yes, Depends I've actually heard are great.
They work great. Me and my best friend went halfsies on a pad.
I had like way too high of expectations for myself. I was like, oh, panty liners will do. And I remember texting my mom like, I have made a grave mistake. Go to the store.
Well, you want to talk about instilling confidence. Those massive pads don't make you feel amazing.
No.
But the Depends make it feel a little bit more
that I've heard
doable.
that about the postpartum undies as well.
Yeah.
But like they hold things together a little bit more.
More
It makes,
support
exactly.
to it. Yeah.
So in your toiletry bag, you're bringing deodorant, toothbrush, shampoo, body wash, lip balm, hair stuff, hair ties, hair bands.
Huge, yeah.
Bring some nipple cream. We love this one by the Matter Company. Yeah, it's a really great one.
Toronto-based.
Toronto-based, Canadian, all natural.
Smells great.
Medela also has a nice lanolin cream. Nipples, it's the worst at the beginning, because those nipples are
They just don't know what's about to happen.
Depending on your lifestyle, typically those nipples are not used to being sucked on that much. So it's like those first few weeks are the worst.
Yes.
Then you're also going to be bringing your shampoo, your body wash. Bring your snacks.
Lots of
Bring
snacks.
your water.
Yeah.
Like bring water. Bring Gatorade.
We talked about a good another option for Gatorade for electrolytes is making your own labor aid. If you just Google it, you're able to make like a water bottle or mason jar or whatever you want of that, and it definitely helps.
Have it in your bag.
Your bag, and also honey sticks. I don't know if you've ever seen honey sticks, but like quick energy when you've been in labor for a really long time, honey sticks are awesome.
And don't forget to pack snacks. Like, make sure your partner, your spouse, your dad packs also a little bag, or like make sure that they've got snacks, because the last thing you want is your partner to be down the hall trying to buy something from the vending machine and it's go time. And you're like, because things happen really quickly.
This is a very likely story.
This literally happens to people all the time. So it's like, have their water here, have their snacks here, have their entertainment here.
A few protein bars.
Yes. Okay, so in terms of apparel, so we've got, bring a nursing bra. So we've got a nursing bra. We've got, this one has nice snaps. I also like the t-shirt one that you could just pull to the side. We talked a bit earlier about potentially having like a bathing suit top if you might be doing a water birth. A lot of hospitals even offer a water, like offer you to labor.
Yeah, there's lots.
In the tub now. But bring a sports bra as well. That's something great. We spoke about the delivery gown that's included in the Freedom Mom kit. So that's an amazing solution as well. We've got our going home outfit. In this case, very comfortable sweats.
So cozy.
Unless you're planning to have a Kate Middleton moment about it, let's be real and be comfortable. Lots of, when you're in the hospital, like you want loose jammies that are button up. Button up or zip, like you're going to be constantly wanting to do skin to skin, and you're going to want to be testing nursing constantly as you figure it out. So make sure that you've got a bunch of jammies that are just very comfortable. And then actually is a good point for dad too, because what did you talk to us about what dad means?
Yeah, so I think it's important that everything that you said earlier, like any sort of entertainment, although I truly believe we are their entertainment in this situation. But if you're there for an extended period of time, something for them to do for sure, food, something to drink, but also if they're interested in doing skin to skin as well, I know I love recommending a zip up hoodie with no t-shirt underneath so that you can actually put the baby skin to skin and zip up. And then that will not zip up all the way, but zip up so that the baby's contained and your partner feels supported in that.
Amazing. We're getting so much great commentary and feedback, so really appreciate it, you guys.
That's so nice.
Thank you. And keep the questions coming because they are fabulous. I'll get more into apparel. I do also want to mention this is our med kit. So bring your Tylenol and Advil. And don't make the same mistake that I did, where after 4 days I thought I could wean myself off the Tylenol and Advil because I ran out, and then like I crawled to Shoppers to get more a couple days later.
You have to set many timers postpartum, and have your partner set timers on their phone as well to make sure that even if you forget, they remember. And also having just water everywhere. I remember that was like
everywhere.
Wherever your partner can put water for you, by your bedside table, literally in the bathroom, anywhere that you go, water should follow you.
Yeah, you have never experienced thirst more than those first few months after baby comes, because you're constantly
so thirsty. And I find your partner wants to be a part of this process, and often they don't know where to like put their hands or like what to do. And these are really good ways to coach them and saying like, you're a part of this process too. I want you to be a part of it, and these are ways you can help me.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay, so back to apparel. So bring your slippers, but also bring a pair of flip-flops if you want to wear them in the shower. Also, you will want to have a shower. The hospital towels are not very luxurious, so bring some comfort items. Like this might seem excessive to some people, but to me, having my own towel and just being able to like have that little bit of comfort was of such value.
You know what, in saying that, a lot of times people like bringing personal items as well. Like if you're going to dim the lights while you're in labor, bringing like candles that have batteries in them, or picture frames of like your other children that are potentially at home if it's a birth that you've had, like if your kids are at home, then like that's a nice place to put your head mentally. So you can bring your personal items to a certain extent to the hospital, to make the room more comfortable.
Bring your cozy socks. Bring a little bit of entertainment because it could be long, it could be short. So we've got an iPad here and a book. And then another thing is bring some, so from a tech standpoint, so let me just make sure that we haven't missed anything. Oh, bring a robe, that's a great one. Then from a tech standpoint, you're gonna wanna bring your phone. Make sure you've got an extra long power cable because you don't know where the hookup is gonna be. Chargers. Bring headphones, bring a portable speaker. I loved having my portable speaker because then I was able to play my birthing playlist and the whole room kind of got on the same energy level.
Yeah, I love that.
You could also, if you're going to bring a camera or a video camera, or you want to live stream the whole thing, bring your gimbal.
You know, I actually had a birth photographer at my second
Yes,
birth.
those are, I would have loved to do something like that.
Pretty
so
wild.
beautiful.
Few people to share the pictures with.
And then some extras, like have a pillow in the car for mom too, in case you are there for a while or after birth. Like, you want to be a little bit more comfortable. Some people are leaving within, I think, 12 to 24 hours.
Yeah.
But if you might be there for a couple days, like, have these comfort items of a pillow, maybe a nursing pillow if you really want to. Like, we've got this nice one by Snuggle Me, which isn't super bulky.
It's so beautiful.
It's so beautiful.
It reminds me of like a moon. I love it.
A blanket as well is super nice. We've already talked about snacks.
I want to also say, like, you're gonna walk into a hospital looking like you're moving in for like a month.
Yes.
And a lot of times people are like, is it okay that we bring all this stuff? And it's like, everyone is doing the same thing.
Yeah.
You can walk in there with confidence with your little luggage and your like basket. I mean, sometimes people go and are happy to use the items that the hospital offers as well, and
Absolutely.
that's also a good choice, whatever the choice is for you.
One of the last items that I would put on our hospital list is, this is a small version of what should be a big gift. If you have an older sibling at home, it's really nice when they come to visit baby for the first time for baby to give older sibling a gift. It just really sets a really nice tone for the relationship. So make sure you plan in advance and have that little present ready to go for baby.
It's so interesting because as the eldest in my family, I am still giving my brother and sister gifts.
Yeah,
to this
it's
day.
nice. It's nice when it goes both ways. Baby gives older sibling a gift,
Yes.
and older sibling also has a gift that they bring baby. It gives them a sense of importance, and that they feel like a big part of the experience.
Absolutely.
So amazing. One other question that came through earlier was about C-section recovery. So what should I have for C-section recovery? So we talked a bit about, what to pack in their hospital bag for it, but some other things that you would want at home for a C-section recovery are, we really love the Snuggle Me Organic, the lounger, because when you're recovering from a C-section, as I understand, you're spending time in bed.
Yep.
So it's nice to have a lounger that you can kind of have beside you with baby. It's also nice to have a bassinet or a play yard kind of at bed height so that you don't have to reach down to grab baby.
Yeah. Anything that prevents you from having to bend over like a lot. Basically.
Absolutely. So yeah, wanted to touch on that. And then just before we get into the giveaway, let me make sure that I haven't missed any cues. I brought, some people are talking about bringing a portable fan.
That's a great idea.
Which is, a fantastic idea.
That's a really good idea.
You're obviously also going to be bringing your infant car seat, but if you're giving birth in the winter, you might want to get a car seat cover so that when you walk out in that very cold weather, baby doesn't get too chilly.
Yeah.
So
and a little hat.
Absolutely. Somebody had some great advice that sizing up in slippers is a great help in case your feet are swollen.
Absolutely.
Just bring in all the tea.
Yeah.
So let's wrap things up by doing our giveaway.
So fun.
So we are actually giving away this labor and delivery postpartum recovery kit. It is such a great bundle.
Fully packed with everything you need.
Yeah.
Yeah. You ready?
You ready?
Okay.
I love to do the drum roll.
Okay. The winner is Hunter Wright.
Congratulations, Hunter. We are so excited for you. You're gonna absolutely love this.
Yeah.
It's so valuable. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. We are going live tomorrow again on newborn feeding at noon. We're also going to be going live next week. Newborn sleep is on Monday. Developmental toys is on Tuesday. And baby wearing with Carrie, our Burlington store manager, is next Wednesday.
I loved wearing my baby.
Don't forget to start your registry between now and October 18th to get in on extra perks. And just thank you guys so much for joining us today. We really appreciated that conversation and just being able to instill confidence. And we hope we did that for you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.